Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. How are you guys doing? We're here in South Florida on a Tuesday. Very rainy, very muggy. It's probably going to start feeling like mid to upper 90s because of the dew point. That's the humidity. So if we get in the right now it's raining, so right now it's in the 80s, but if we do get 92, 93, 94 degrees, could feel like 97, 98. So it's hot down here, but not as hot as LA with the cars on fire. We got thank God that we don't have buildings. From what I understand, we don't have buildings yet on fire, but we got a lot of cars on fire. Cop cars, citizens cars. I think they have these cars now where they I believe I heard, don't exactly quote me on this, but I believe I heard in the news last night that they actually have some self-driven cars. I don't know if they're from the Tesla or from other company that has that technology, but there's a lot of cars on fire, and we have professional agitators. And if you don't believe that we have professional agitators, I got waterfront property in Nebraska. Now, obviously, I'm being facetious, but that's the way it is. That's the way it is. They either the people from Soros, probably never going to find out unless you have a whistleblower or whistleblowers. But the Soros groups, you got the people from Maduro, you got the Chinese. There's a lot of Chinese nationals in here. Everybody that wants to do harm to this country, the Iranians. So, what can I tell you? We got all these professional communists. Some of them are not communists. Some of them are just globalists that don't respect the United States. I hate our way of life. I hate the United States in general. We have a lot of communists. We have a lot of anarchists and a lot of lunatics and woke blue-haired idiots that just want to cause problems. They basically want to push for a civil war. It's funny how they accuse Trump of wanting to start a civil war or wanting to have a civil war when they're the ones that are pushing for one. The people that they were defending that got picked up on last Friday by ICE, the worst of the worst. I don't know if you guys saw the I think 7 of them that were the worst, the kind of crimes that they committed, that got convicted of, not accused, convicted of. These guys were the scum of the earth, and they were going to be removed because we have our we have a lot of our own homegrown criminals. We don't need criminals from other countries. First of all, you shouldn't be here in the first place because you're here illegally, and then second of all, once you're here, you don't keep your nose clean. The saying that you keep your nose clean, behave your best. No, they don't love our country, or they don't love our way of life, or they don't want a better life. They come over here, they with an attitude of entitlement, and they which that's what happened with the other administration. They basically made them think that they were gonna let them do whatever they want no matter what, because they needed all these illegals coming in basically to flood the country. And my theory, which I think if you analyze it, most people, you're free to conclude your opinion, but I think there's probably at least 60-70% of the population that agrees they wanted to flood the system because they just wanted to get a lot of illegals. Because you get a lot of illegals, you can actually have a lot of illegal votes, and you can sway elections. Now, if you can't get them to vote, you can at least have them count on census and things like that, which supposedly they shouldn't, but we know they do, especially in sanctuary cities and sanctuary states, where for the population, and that has to do with the electoral votes. If you have more people in the state, you have more electoral votes, you have more power. But they were probably also trying to expedite their way of getting citizenship so they could vote. Or in some cases, we know of a lot of cases, hundreds of cases, where they've been found out where they vote illegally. A lot of people like to put their head in the sand and says, "Oh, that doesn't happen in the United States." Well, it does happen. It does happen. I wouldn't be surprised if one day they find out it's actually in the thousands that vote illegally, which is in a close election. We're not talking just about presidential elections. We're talking about in a senator election, or if you want to even make it even to a lower level, the congressional districts You know, the House of Representatives, sometimes the races are determined by a couple hundred votes. In some cases, been less than 100 votes. So obviously, you don't need that many illegal votes to get the job done. So again, that's what I think they're doing. And these protests are just, you know, make it seem like it's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. It's ICE's fault. It's the National Guard's fault. It's the police fault. What other country would they allow citizens, non-citizens, and I don't know, and somewhere in between, to burn a whole bunch of cars, and including cop cars, including ICE cars, and injure officers, injure people that work for the government? It's just a matter of time before civilians starts getting injured, because if you happen to be against them, if you protest, you do a counter protest, you know who are the ones that are going to be violent. And it's funny how they say that people that are on the right, or which it's kind of really ridiculous when they say on the right. I would rather say people that have common sense, okay? People that are not woke, lunatic, leftist, globalist, scum of the earth people. If you're just a regular person that wants to do right by the country, by your family, by your neighbors, and you know you're God-fearing, and you don't want to, you know, you don't want the craziness that we've had for all the years there that Biden was in charge. And you know, I'm gonna say, you know, it's a shadow government. It's Obama's shadow government. Ever since Obama came in, this country took a far left turn off a cliff. You know, so I blame Obama for a lot of it, and I'm pretty sure Obama was the one that was running the country, wasn't Biden or Obama's people. You know, it's a shadow government that were being run. Biden didn't have too much going up there. When he wasn't sleeping, taking naps, you know, he couldn't even put a sentence together. And you know, they would claim that he had stuttering problems. Yeah, he had stuttering problems when he was a kid. But if you go and look at film, look at footage of Biden when he was a senator, he had no problems talking. Now, he might have not been the sharpest tool in the shed, but he didn't have any problems talking. He actually would go on long speeches, even though sometimes there were dumb things that he said, but still, he didn't have any problems. So just that his mind was gone. And who knows if it ever was there from the first day that he became president. But to allow as much as 21 million people illegally, and basically not checking any of them, or very little check. We know we have all these criminals, and a lot of them came from countries like Venezuela, and you know, Maduro just emptied the jails. The same thing that Castro did back in 1980 with Mariel. You mix the good people with the bad people, and you think they're going to tell us who the criminals are? No, because they're sending them over. Again, this is orchestrated. These riots are orchestrated, and you know, from what I heard, Trump has anywhere from 54 to 58% of the American public that wants him to get rid of these people, these criminals. The funny thing is, when you go to just Hispanics in general, believe it or not, the Democrats are so racist. You know, they accuse the Republicans of being what they are. They're so racist. They automatically think if you're Hispanic, you know, from any Hispanic country, from any Spanish-speaking country, that you're going to be for these people. You know, if anything, Hispanics are more for law and order than a lot of other groups out there. So, you know, I've heard the polls in the 60s, as much as 67, 68% of Hispanics that want these people out of here. Because basically, if you're a Hispanic, you know, if you speak Spanish, you don't want people to think that your people, your family, your country, you know, that you're criminals, because you know you don't want to be associated with the garbage, with the scum of the earth that has gotten in here. And instead of being thankful for the opportunity to be here, they just they burn our flag, they spit on our flag, they urinate on our flag. They you know, come here, rape women, rape, you know, little girls, they molest them, traffic, you know, human trafficking. They sell drugs, they work for the cartel. You know, and even the ones that supposedly are not involved in that, you see how many are thieves, and how many murderers, whether it's first degree, second degree, third degree, whatever, they murder people. In cases of them driving drunk, not respecting the laws, speeding and driving drunk and running into people and killing them. And many people would not suffer, whether it's death or other tragedies, if these people weren't here, when they have no right to be here. I think that you have to think about that, especially if you're a Democrat or a weak independent or even a rhino Republican. Who's the real enemy here? It's very easy just to blame Trump. I think somebody had to take the bull by the horns and do what has to be done. And I think Trump's doing a great job. I mean, he hasn't done more because of the courts and the liberal judges, but you know, go full steam ahead and get rid of all these people, because, you know, where, in what country, let's say Mexico, can you go into Mexico waving an American flag and burning cars and attacking their police and their